Hello, my friend. This is me speaking about Martin Heidegger's view of evil in my series on existential views on evil. Now, Heidegger doesn't believe that evil comes from us committing sins or having wicked intentions. He believes that it comes from the way we are in the world. He looks always at everything through the lens of ontology, the science of being. And he sees evil as stemming from a state of forgetfulness about how to be and what it means to be human and what it means to be a being in a world. He speaks about this as a tragedy when human beings lose touch with their true nature and become lost in the world of things, other people, and technology. He sees that as a kind of escapism, as a hiding away from truth and authenticity. He speaks about evil as the malice of the enframing. In German, that is Gestell, enframing. He speaks about this enframing as being about modern technology, which frames our lives and shapes our world and cuts us off from the real being that as human beings we're capable of. So we have come to view the entire world and even other people as a resource to be used, as objects to manipulate, as a reserve that we can draw from instead of as other beings and part with us of this being in the world and doing justice to being. The evil is that we see the forest as timber to be taken, or a human being as a resource to be used in the operation of an organization or an institution. We have committed, for Heidegger, an ontological evil. We have stripped away the mystery and essence of what being is and what has been given to us through our being, reducing everything to a mere object for consumption. We have become entirely taken over by this technology and this instrumentalist view of the world. This also makes us be focused more on other people, das Man, the they, the anonymous other person who decides for us. In his masterpiece, Being and Time, he speaks about how we live in this inauthentic state and we do what others tell us to do. We even think what others want us to think and we talk how they talk, but all the while this they does not exist because each of us has the capacity to think for ourselves, but we give up on doing this and we become enframed by these illusory ideas about what is expected of us. We fall into the crowd, and that is a form of evil because it is a denial of our own existence. And he speaks a lot about how to re-own your existence, how to rediscover your ownership of your being and not to flee away from the responsibility of your own life and your own death. And of course the idea for him that you learn to be towards death is what might save you, because that gives you this new purpose, this new project, which will allow you to re-own your life. So evil is a kind of lack, a lacking, a privation. It is an unwezen, a non-essence, a dis-essence, if you like. It's not a positive force like a demon, but it is a human being lacking to be true to what is the essence of being. It is a closing off of your possibilities. It is a denial of your openness and your future. We become so busy and so distracted by the world that we no longer wonder why there is something rather than nothing, why we are in being. We live in the shadow of this ontological evil, which is to become taken over by things, by situations, by other people, instead of standing in openness towards being and taking responsibility for our lives. So Heidegger was very negative about the modern world and technicity, and he thought that humanity was on the path towards a total darkening of the world. And it is because he had this negative view that he jumped on the fascist bandwagon for a little while, because he believed that the Nazi party might give him a voice to change the whole universe, the whole population, not just in Germany, but all across Europe, in order to establish this greater connectivity to our roots and to our destiny. He was so blinded by the idea of moral evil happening in the world and this darkening happening that he could not see that what he was associating himself with was the exact vehicle of that darkening, and that this was catastrophic and absolutely wrong. So the man who wrote about forgetfulness of being really forgot his own being for a while, and the later Heidegger was much sobered when he realized how wrong he had been, and his later work was all about being true to being. He also became quite depressed for a while. So I think Heidegger in some ways lived this evil deep in himself, and there is much to learn about his theory, but we always have to be on our guard. When we wax too lyrical about evil, there really is this chance of us becoming a mechanism for evil, a pathway towards it. We have to remain self-critical instead of thinking we have found the way to save the world. Take care, my friend. Think carefully about these things for yourself.